I had always worked in warehouses and computer rooms, and I was really bored doing that. I wanted to do something else. And then a friend of mine called me later. All my friends knew I wanted to do something else, and she said, "How would you like to be an oiler on a crane?" And I'm going, "What's a crane?" I went out to the it was the bridge on 540, and went out there and crawled up on the crane. And this operator said, "Well, hello, little bit." So that name just stuck. This was just different job sites I was on. I think this one was down at the Pine Bluff Paper Mill. We were setting up, fixing some equipment. And then this was out there on the river, that bridge that I was working on. And then this, I had hazmat training through my union hall. They wanted us all to have the hazmat training. And of course, I had to join the union. The pay was equal. That was what was, men, women, whatever. Everybody got the same pay. In my union, I think I was the first one. Well, the operators were real good. Of course, I was in their union. Now, it was every craft. We worked with all crafts, and they were respectful, except one incident. I'll go ahead and tell you. This guy, we'd all eat lunch, same place, and during lunch he would just talk horrible. He just talked terrible. And I never said a word, just ignored it and went about. And it turned out later the guys confronted him and said, "Would you talk like that in front of your wife, your daughter, your sister?" And he's going, "No." And they're going, "Why'd you talk like that in front of her?" So they straightened him out. I didn't even have to say nothing. I think he just didn't like the idea of me being out there because I was the only female on that job. Yeah, I definitely had to prove myself lots of times. I felt like I was too slow, but I was trying to be too careful because one of the operators on one job said, "If you ever get real cocky, you'll kill somebody." And I think that always stuck. And I thought, no, I don't want to kill anybody or hurt anybody. So I know I started out being probably too slow, and I thought, I might not can do this. But then the more practice you get, I got faster and made it fine. I'll never forget this. One time I had to go to Agee down there for one day. I was going to set a big old boiler up in the powerhouse, and the supervisor came and picked me up in the parking lot. And he said, and I could tell the way he was acting that yeah, right. And he pulled around there, brought me to this 50-ton crane. He said, "This is what you're going to be running." And I went, "Cool." And he just looked at me like, she don't know what she's doing. So I got it up and drove it to around there to where I needed to be. And I could see him. He was hiding inside that building, watching me. And I set it up, set the part. I was only there just a little while. He paid me the whole day. I showed him. So I was proud of that day. I never missed work, no matter what I did. But my parents taught me that. Always don't ever miss work. There'd be people call in sick all the time and, tell stories. And like this one guy, he'd say, "My grandma died." And the other guys would say, "Again?" Stuff like that. My mother would say, "I wish you would get a normal job." But I said, "Well, I used to have a normal job, and I didn't like the normal job." She thought maybe it was too hard for me or something. But my dad really liked it. He built me some little cranes. My father built them when I'd go on a job. I'd come back, and he'd have me another crane built. So, yeah, he was very talented in that. And I took him to a union meeting one time. They really wanted to keep him, so I barely got out with them. But I told them, "No, my dad made those. It's very special. Can't have those." Sometimes it was kind of nerve-wracking what you had to do. Nuclear One got a little nervous sometimes because I'd have to pick something up and, stand it up, and not let anything tilt or anything. So it was a few times that it got a little nerve-wracking. 1979 I started, and then I retired in, I think, 2004 or 5. So it was 25 years. Well, seeing what you accomplished, you could see what you did. rewarding.